If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They will make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Wow, it's been how many months now? 3 months. I think the last time we had a conversation on the African Millennial Radio Show was, I think, first week in March or maybe second week in March. All right, how are we doing this wonderful afternoon? It's been showers of, some people say showers of blessings, some people say showers that cause flood, and so many types of showers on the coastal city of Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm back, I guess, on the African Millennial Radio Show after these very, very, very long days of sitting at home, hoping that the streets were going to be open in a bit and getting all careful with what you touch, sanitizing everywhere and getting paranoid at some very, very funny times. Right? It's Tomi Wale, and I mean, I really feel good to be in the studio again after a long time. How are we doing though? How's everybody in the countries? How is Zambia doing? How is Ghana doing? I mean, big, is it big ups or big congratulations to, is it congratulations I should say, or kudos to Ghana on how they managed the situation of the coronavirus. I mean, that was such interesting leadership shown at the very first stages of it. And I'm very, very sure that many African countries also looked at them and took some lessons on how they were going to do their marketplaces and their public spaces also. All right. What other countries there? South Africa. I hope you guys are fine. It's the winter season right now. Please stay wrapped up well. Boost your immune system. Stay indoors. You don't have to go out. And guys in Egypt, guys everywhere, just make sure you're fine. Africa, please be fine. And so my Lagos people, you don't have to go out. All right. I'm just happy to be in the studio. I mean, I was cracking some jokes, the elephant jokes right now with one of the guys in the studios, and I was trying to get them. So you guys can actually go check out elephant jokes. They could be dry at first. One of the first warnings of African jokes is, you are not normal. I mean, what was that actually?
You're not normal. You are normal if you don't find them funny.
Okay, you're normal if you don't find them funny. Yeah, so you guys could go check that out and, share with a lot of people, right? It could look like the porn thing happening right now with the Don't Leave Me challenge, but I think that one is a bit more complex and just a few people get it. All right, we have very, very beautiful things to talk about, very insightful things to talk about, very fun things to talk about today. I'm going solo. I don't have a guest. So I'm going to be both the host and the guest today. It's just going to be the chronicles of the lockdown chronicles, right? We're going to talk about things that happen with pop culture, talk about the significance of of the whole thing on our health, how people started taking their health seriously. We're going to be talking about, some hits here and there with the political landscape of the different countries that we belong to. And then, safety issues and many, many recent developments and tables shaking that are happening right now. So let's have a very, very short break. And I'll be back in full force to have a very wonderful ride for the next 20 minutes. Yeah, I guess.
We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They will make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. So, are you guys following us on Instagram? We have an Instagram page. It's called the AMRS, so the African Millennial Radio Show. That's the AMRS, THEAMRS on Instagram, and see snippets from some of the editions we've had, over 30 editions we've had just before the lockdown started. You can listen to snippets from them and then hit the link in the bio to go full into the episodes, whichever one you like, maybe from Anto, from Lele, from Moita Bebe, right? I need to learn how to pronounce people's names. I'm sorry, Moi. From Mr. Badmoss, I have so many names, man. From Jennifer and Jessica Danjuma, from so many people, Emeka Osai, from Razak, Ayodiji Razak, so it's, one of the feedbacks we got, right, was this is very insightful. This feels different. You learn with every edition that you get on. And that's very, 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 very wonderful. That's a very, very good feedback that we've gotten. So go on africabusinessradio.com, search for the African Millennial Radio Show podcast, share it with a lot of people, listen to it at work, right? Share it with your boss, especially the conversation that has to do with human resource. This is the time that a lot of offices need to listen to, the conversation with, Adetoye, Mr. Badmoss, right? Millennials will be the ones to really take that company forward. Yes, the enduring values that the older generation have brought, but then the creative thinking, right, synonymous with millennials and Gen Z, would actually help keep your organization on the edge. And I think Mr. Badmoss really talked about that a lot. All right, so the lockdown made us really go deep into setting up the Instagram page, right? So that people can have feedbacks, talk about the show and things like that. And part of the things that we also now saw on the internet, we couldn't do a flip the switch challenge with some of the episodes. We weren't sure how we're going to be able to do that, but we had the flip the switch challenge come on, and that was a very, 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 not on the show, just talking generally on the internet. And that was a very, very interesting challenge, I must say. I'm not the type of dude that would put a lady's makeup on my face. I would not do that for anybody. There are times that some people have pinned me down and said, no, it's a game, you have to try it. I said no. But it's interesting how guys were actually flipping clothes with their wives or with their girlfriends. That was quite interesting. And you had the ones with the humans and the pets. Jason Derulo's TikTok, for example, was just quite phenomenal. And it still is, actually. Now, what I also realized with the flip challenge was it brought out a whole lot of creativity. With the phone, with what the phones can do. So before, you would think that you had to go into a studio, get the equipment to do some magical manipulations of videos, but then people were just doing these things with their phones. I think one of the major apps that did this was InShot. Am I right? I don't know if anybody uses InShot, but I think InShot really did a whole lot of good with that. And that continued. Now, back to work. People needed to get work going. There's always been this, what's it called? This platform called Zoom. I've been in Zoom meetings for a number of times. I think the first time I was in a Zoom meeting, maybe it was 2 years ago, early last year. And I was like, okay, what is this? Dial a number and things like that. And it was really good. It was very effective. But then Zoom went off the roof. Right. Now back to our houses again. The challenges kept going. People started playing a whole lot with their phones. And then the very, very interesting one was the Don't Rush Challenge. I mean, people would change. I got in a Don't Rush Challenge with some dudes and then said, okay, we're going to be in our casual way and then now change to Agbada. It was tough for me. I was like, let me just do something and send it to these guys. And it was all over Twitter, went on all the blogs and everything. If you can remember a particular Don't Rush Challenge that had some boys with some low quality-ish video of them moving from casual wears to traditional attires, I was the last guy in the video. Right. So just imagine I was in the video. You can stop the video when it's almost at the last guy so you won't see me in it. That went on and the world was now witnessing how creative people could be with the little device or the technology we had in our hands, right? The world could now realize that, okay, you don't have to really go out of your house to get some things done. You can just sit down, get creative because of a challenge that is happening for the sake of maybe going viral, for the sake of beating the person who did the last one, with how very interesting your creativity could be. And what I realized with that was maybe if economies, organizations could start tasking a whole lot of we millennials on some things, task them, of course, with a reward with it, right? Task them with a sense of ownership coming with it. I think a whole lot of our creative juices will pop in decision making, in innovation, and in moving things forward, right? Fast forward, we started having DJs in the house, right? So DJ D-Nice, for example, started, and I think got to about 300,000 views. And then we had Tony also doing his thing with the Nigerian actor, always dropping the Nigerian flag, and he had to call him out one day, Ikong Bonang, that's IK Obona, and that was actually very interesting. It kept a lot of people busy, boys who would text some people, maybe see this wonderful person on the internet, I want to say hello to them and maybe ignore them. Everybody had time to reply messages during this period. It was fun at first, then everything started going down. And then people started getting angry. We need to come out of our house. We need to do all these things. In the midst of all of this, I would never forget the impact of this whole thing on our health. I mean, people for the very first time in a long time started taking their health seriously. Little things like washing your hands. I'm sure many people before now didn't know that they had to, that they should actually wash their hands for at least 20 seconds. Rub the fingers on the palm so that the dirt in the fingernails leave, do the backhand, do the, in between the fingers and things like that. It's really brought in a lot of health conscious, behaviors. And I love that a lot. For me, I really used to take vitamin C until maybe I discovered the code, but then I loaded myself with, vitamin C, with supplements, with ginger. Oh God. Please, how many of us had ginger and honey? I'm sure we had a lot of ginger and honey. And I'm thinking about it. During the times we were doing all of this, we didn't have up to 200 cases, but everybody was paranoid. Everybody was like, hey, this. And then there are how many cases right now? People are just trying to live with it. But the beautiful thing is I believe so much that good healthy habits were formed, right? And I think that this is even the time that we should intensify it. Wash your hands a lot, right? Work out a lot. You don't have to drink too many carbonated drinks. Drink water a lot. Our Proco doctor, he was on the show at some point and then he tweeted I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago and talked about taking yogurt, right? Because it has some vitamin B's and C's and things like that. You can do that, right? But then make sure that your water intake is a lot, right? When I mean a lot, do at least 3 liters of water every day, right? Fast. When you fast, what happens? What I heard from health practitioners is your body actually creates new immune systems because it's trying to survive. And then once it does that, you have a renewed immune system. Then go on again on the veggies and live, enjoy life, right? Cover your nose, keep the social distancing going, and then get life going. All right. I think I'm doing this alone. If I had a guest, right, I would have paused at some point and the guest would be talking right now. So I have to go on another quick break now to catch my breath. And I'll be back to talk about what the impact on other areas has happened and how I think it has benefited so many people. All right. So I'll be back in a bit.
This feels like the final football match between two soccer warriors. Oh my God, can somebody please tell me what the African formation is? Oh, it's 4-4-2. Amazing. Cool stuff. That's just super amazing, isn't it? Africa Business Radio is doing 4-4-2 on the news with 40% Nigerian stories, 40% African stories, and 20% global stories. Now that's what I call a homegrown, heart-breaking goal! Go!
You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I'm a brand consultant, right? And I just want to quickly chip in something for a whole lot of organizations out there in marketing departments, if maybe this is a free consultancy thing. So I realized something during the lockdown and what's been happening with webinars and having conferences online and Instagram Live and all of that. If you're going to create something as an advertorial or something to invite people into a particular event you're trying to do, right? I think it's best to make the invites suggest the feel that the people you're inviting would have when they come into it. So I see a very, very nice, perfectly taken photograph of a speaker, right? In ties and everything, neatly photoshopped and all of that. And then it comes on Instagram Live or Instagram Live or Zoom, and it's looking like Shrek on the screen. So I don't know if that sort of messes the reality up a bit, because I don't know. I'm seeing this very wonderful person, good angles and all of that, and then the person is all blurry and everything. So I suggested something recently on Twitter. I said, maybe in creating flyers or e-flyers, right, for online conferences and things like that, it could be nice to actually make the people's pictures be selfies. This is it. You want to keep the look consistent. So this is how Soji is going to look on the flyer. I mean, on the what's it called? On the Zoom Live. This is how Funke, this is how John is going to look. This is how Kofi is going to look, right, on the flyer. So if you have a very, very good phone and you can just set up good lights or go outside in the sun. The sun is the best form of lighting. Take a very good selfie. It might just resonate to us. So someone got in a conversation with me and said something like, well, marketing departments want the pictures to be perfect and things like that. And I said, well, I'm all for any sort of marketing or communication material to have some feel of experience to it. I want to be experiential. So if I'm going to see Jeremiah in a webinar later on, I think I don't want to look at him when it's happening and then try to reconcile his face with what I saw on the flyer. I don't know, it just looks a bit sketchy to me. So That conversation went on, and I took a poll on my Twitter account. I asked the question, I said, what picture resonates with you the most? The first option was a selfie. The second option was a Photoshop image. A selfie got over 90%. I mean, the Photoshop image got below 10%. So we might just need to look into that. So many things are changing. I said earlier on about how people are now getting very, very, very innovative, right, with their mobile phones, and things now going online. So maybe the approach or the rules to things also might change. That's just it. You might want to do some research, about that, just to ensure that communication across board is, consistent. All right. Back to what we're talking about. A friend of mine told me something. He said, what, Tomi, if people were actually having lives going normally, a lot of the rallies and protests happening in the world today might not have happened. It was like people just needed activity after a couple of months of lockdown in their houses. So they found an excuse to come out. Many issues, many table shaking things are coming up, and people are actually, right, having the time in their hands to get into this conversation. They might have been, or no, not they might have. There have been a lot of tragedies, right? There have been a lot of very funny things, people losing family members to the whole pandemic and all of that. On the other end, I think that to get life going, we should look at the positive side of things. What has this pandemic actually done in cleaning the world also, right? I mean, my condolences to families. I feel very, very sorry for businesses. It's a tough one. But then in getting life going, what are the good things that have happened? I mean, the protest about Black Lives Matters, the rape, culture really coming to fore in our side of the world also. So many things like that. I believe, right, that they are actually good for the sake of humanity. We're all talking about post-lockdown, post-COVID, etc. But then what type of world do we want to have? Do we want to come with the same baggages we had before the pandemic into the new, into the post-pandemic? I don't think so. Right. So I like the fact that a lot of things are coming out. A lot of people are getting called out, right? Justice is really, really getting questioned this time around. Leadership across board, leadership in countries is actually getting a whole lot of, a whole lot of jabs, a whole lot of questioning. If you call yourself a leader, now tell me what you stand for. Do you stand on the side of, injustice? Really? Have you always been on the side of injustice? Are you ignorant of activities? Are you really going to take life and get it going forward? Not take life and get it going forward. Are you going to submit yourself, right, to the demands of the population, right, and actually chart a course for a better, for a better world to happen? A little example I'll think of was Idris Elba posted a picture. He made, I think, a merch or a shirt, and he had he had things on like music, culture. He had life, but on the life, he put a stroke on it, right? I guess what he was trying to say is you can take everything from me, but don't take my life, as a protest to Black Lives Matter. But then people came and said, no, we don't even want you to take anything, right? You've taken these things for so many. And what did he do? He came back and he made a tweet and also an Instagram post and said, my people have spoken, or something like that, and I listened. And he posted a t-shirt with deleted written on it. I mean, that was someone who was willing to listen, right, to people's sides of things and acted immediately on it. There are many people who have many things going on. Many nations have so many things going on, right? Nigeria right now is facing, I don't even know, we're facing a whole lot of things. We have our police brutality going on there. We have the rape culture across Africa. I heard, it was not in Ethiopia, and they said cases of fathers doing things to their daughters and things like that. It is good that these things are coming to light. They've always been there, but then people having time on their hands, I believe, is making what's it called? The conversations go viral and the world is really getting cleansed. So let's continue doing this. Let's clean the world. I mean, the popular song by the American artist with Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and everybody, Heal the World. We need it at this time, right? I started this year and I kept saying on the radio show, and I said that we don't know what this decade holds. I didn't know what I was talking about. I wish I knew, right? But we don't know what this decade holds. But then one thing we can do is to ensure that we have a saner environment to accommodate what the world is about to give, or what the decade is about to give. And also at the same time, lean towards the positive side of things, right? What is going to be the positive outcome of this? As long as you can think through the positive outcome of it, right? See it from the point of love, then act deep on it. On my Twitter page, for example, I have a banner on it and it reads that, whenever a woman thinks of someone she can be safe around, be a reference. That's a very, very major issue that is happening right now. Our women are not safe. I'm happy that they've been saying it for so long, but maybe people just been busy with life or thinking about something, we just ignore it. But right now, there are cases coming up. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about this because it could be very, very emotional. But men, let us do what is right to protect women everywhere. Protecting women just means we're really protecting our future, because I mean, they're the ones that really, really do the incubation, of the next set of human beings to walk the face of the earth. So let us take it upon ourselves. Let's correct each other. Dude, what you're doing to this lady is wrong. What you're doing over there is wrong. And then let us make sure that a woman, right, will feel safer walking on the streets, getting back home safely, not trying to fake a phone call because some men are walking behind her, not trying to pace or just do some very funny things because she's just not comfortable because a man is staring at her from afar. Let's do the right things. Let's make the world a very, very sane place. All right, this will be the last. Let's go on a break, right? And then I'll be back to wrap this all up. We have a very, very wonderful guest coming on Friday, but then I'll talk about that once we get back. I'll be back in a bit.
We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
Right, guys, welcome back. So if you notice how I started, right, I started with the fact that everybody really, really got innovative. Everybody had time to check themselves, to detox, to do everything. See it as a form of cleansing. Look at the bright side, right? If you're there and you actually lost someone, I am really, really, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry about that, but I believe, right, that the world you have ahead of you is going to be a very, 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 very phenomenal one. Right. But make sure that in everything you do, look at the good side of it. Right. What is happening? Instead of thinking that you're being overwhelmed by the news flying around everywhere, you can just take a break off the internet. Jot things down on your notepad. Make a creed for yourself. Write some to-do list for yourself about how you yourself would get things done for the world to come. For the world around you, for your community, how am I going to be a better person? It's very, very important. And I believe so much that if we can do this, guys between the ages of 17 to 39 especially, if we can do this, what we'll be doing is we're preparing ourselves to raise better human beings when the opportunity is given to us. And think about it, in about 2 or 3 decades down the line, we have a totally different type of people who are ready to take responsibility, who are innovative by default, and who would always stand to be corrected, listen, and not just feel like the world is going to crumble once something little just hits them, right? We have people who are resilient enough to demand justice and fight for what is right. So we can do, I believe it's a very, very wonderful opportunity that we have in our hands right now. On Friday, I really want to, okay, let me tell you about, no, I'm not going to talk about it, right? But just stay tuned. Friday is going to be a very, very interesting one. Africans are really getting that interesting global recognition right now, and one of the people who has gotten it is going to be in the studio to share his experience on it, right? All right, it's Tomi Wale, and I have to be out of the studio right now. My producer is telling me to wrap it up. I'll see you guys on Friday. Please stay safe, jot things down, don't leave me. Have a very wonderful afternoon here. Bye.
That's cool on the beat.
Listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.